Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. And welcome to my NFL 2018 Week 7 game recap between the Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'll be upfront with you. I picked against the Panthers in this one, kind of like the reverse psychology. I remember doing that last year against the Patriots, and they ended up going into New England and beating them. So I guess it kind of worked, but you're probably still going to be mad at me. You're probably going to be mad at me for my last video. There's a reason I made that video. You've watched the games, and even in this game, which I had to go back and watch because I did miss that first quarter, but you watch the way that this team starts, and referring to the Panthers, it's very sloppy, kind of very conservative with the play calling, and the reason they've come back in these fourth quarters they came back in last week's game, they came back against Atlanta, is because on both sides of the ball, they're being more aggressive. They're putting the ball in the air. They're sending more guys just because, you look at the front four, they're just not getting pressure with just four guys. So you have to send more guys. And they've been doing it in these comebacks to, at least give the offense a chance. But let's get into the numbers. Philadelphia Eagles were at home. Carson Wentz 30 for 37, 310 yards, two touchdowns. He was money. Not a lot of pressure. He started to get a little bit more as the game went on. They forced the late game fumble, which of course was recovered by Philly, but it was fourth down. So the Panthers did make some plays, but there were very few. He had a clean pocket for the most part. He had a lot of time to throw. Zach Ertz was killing the Panthers. And a lot of it, Alshon Jeffrey was as well. He made some really tough catches. But Carson, it starts up front. You can't get pressure on the quarterback nowadays. You just can't cover receivers down the field. And the Panthers were only sending 4. They were not getting to him. So he was great. You look at the 4 sacks. The 4 sacks came from really good coverage in the secondary. It came from really good coverage in the secondary where he had to hold, and someone eventually got to him. But for the most part, it was not consistent pressure. Philadelphia rushing, Smallwood, 9 carries, 32 yards. Adams, 4 carries for 17. Clement, 8 carries for 6. And Wentz had 3 carries for 3. It was a total of 24 carries, 58 yards. The Panthers' run defense was really good in this game. They gave up a 10-yard run to Smallwood. Other than that, they were really able to control that Philadelphia run game. And Philadelphia was trying to run the ball. They ran the ball 24 times. They had a lead, so of course they were going to try to run the burn clock. But the Panthers did a really good job against the run. Definitely an improvement on the way they played last week against Washington. Giving up, I believe, over 100 to Adrian Peterson. But they did a much better job in this game. Receiving, already mentioned Zach Ertz. 9 receptions to 138 yards. Alshon Jeffrey, 7 receptions, 88 yards and a touchdown. And if Bradbury doesn't get that PI penalty at the end of the game, that's when the Panthers took the lead. Eagles got the ball back. First play of the drive is that Alshon Jeffries has a step on Bradbury, and Bradbury reaches out, gets pass interference purposely because he didn't want to give up the touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey was killing him. But he had 7 receptions, 88 yards and a touchdown. Goddard, 4 receptions, 43 yards and a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar, 6 receptions for 20. Clement, 2 receptions for 16. Smallwood, 2 receptions for 5. Like I said, Carson Wentz had a lot of time to throw. Guys were making some really nice catches. And when you got a clean pocket like that, with time to throw, a lot of quarterbacks are going to have that kind of completion percentage. The Eagles defense, the guy who, his numbers don't jump out at you, but he was the most dominant guy on defense, Fletcher Cox. You look at a lot of the Panthers' successful runs, there was a couple where it was kind of a busted play, Cam Newton runs. You get a lot of those where Cam Newton run for a big gain. But a lot of the runs where he handed it off to Christian McCaffrey, A lot of them were to the outside because Fletcher Cox was you can't move him. And then when there was pressure early on in the game, it was always that guard, the center gets pushed back into Cam Newton, and it allows guys like Michael Bennett to pick up a sack, Graham to pick up a sack. Fletcher Cox was the best defensive player I saw just from watching the games. Like I said, the numbers don't jump out as you just look at raw numbers. Now, if you go to like PFF, I believe he was like the highest graded defensive player. But you watch the way he dominates at the line of scrimmage. It's why the Eagles are always one of the better run defenses, just because you cannot move that guy, and it allows other guys to make plays. The linebackers behind him, the other defensive linemen, just because he is such a problem for offensive linemen. And he's a guy you can leave out there every down because he can get after the quarterback as well in terms of getting that interior pressure. So I would say he was the guy who played the best. Jalen Mills struggled. Ronald Darby, he had some nice plays, but he did give up the double move to Devin Funchess, and he got beat real bad. But I think for the most part, they were great in the first three quarters. It was just in the second half. It was just in that fourth quarter when the pass rush slowed down. Cam got more time to throw. Those corners couldn't cover for as long just because there was no pressure. That's when you saw him really struggle when guys started to get tired. Cam Newton offense went to more of a hurry up offense just to get them tired, and it worked. Why they don't do that more often, I don't understand. But first three quarters, defense for the Eagles played great. Moving over to Panthers, of course. Cam Newton, 25 of 39, 269 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mind you, at the end of the third quarter, he had a little bit over 70 yards passing. It was terrible. They were so bad. And the thing about the offense, when they did get a positive play, they followed up usually that very next play, or maybe play after that. When they got a positive play, they followed up with a negative play, albeit loss, tackle for a loss, or a penalty. And what the way the protection was in this game, with Cam being under a lot of pressure, having to make throws under pressure, it's not what you want. It's not what you want. And I think they should go to more of a hurry-up offense as the season goes on. Not just when you're down, but also early in these games when you see you got the defense, the other team's defense on their heels. Keep going down the field. Get to the hurry-up, get them off balance, slow. And that is eventually gonna slow down those pass rushers. You saw that in the fourth quarter. They need to do that more often because Cam was great he was great in the fourth. That's when the Panthers, they scored all 21 of their points in the fourth quarter. Looking at the rushing, Cam Newton, 7 carries, 49 yards. Jarius Wright, 1 carry, 34, which that makes the numbers look like they were much better when you go look at the total numbers. For the most part, Carolina had to really go away from the running game just because of the score. You're down 17 points. It's 17-0 in the fourth quarter. You're going to abandon the run. Outside of really if Cam Newton runs, I think he had a couple of runs in that fourth quarter. But other than that, you're not handing the ball off. Even though they did run an end around and did get a touchdown. That was earlier in that fourth quarter. Christian McCaffrey, 7 carries, 29. He had a couple nice runs early in the game. But like I said, they had to go away from it. Curtis Samuel, 2 carries, 9 yards, and a touchdown. He had the end around that got Carolina that first touchdown. Receiving, Devin Funchess, 6 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Torrey Smith, 4 receptions, 61. He made some nice plays. He gave Cam a nice window on fourth down where Cam's pretty much getting tackled. He has guys around him. And it was make that completion or lose the game. And he gave Cam an open window. He's been kind of clutch. He was clutch last week, even though the Panthers didn't win. He's been clutch in these last couple of games. So I'll give him credit. Christian McCaffrey, 6 receptions, 51. Jarius Wright, 2 receptions, 37. DJ Moore, 3 receptions, 29. Curtis Samuel, 1 reception, 16. Demir Bird, 1 reception, 8. And Greg Olsen, 2 receptions for 5 and a touchdown. He had the go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes to go in the game. Wide open, great play calling. And like I said, just when you go to the hurry up, you put the ball in the air. And I think Norv Turner has a lot to do when the Panthers start playing like that, and kind of like you're down 17. You got to go to a 2-minute drill offense. Got to hurry and get points as quick as possible, just because you know you're facing a good defense. You know you're facing a good offense. You can't give up chances to score. So put the ball in your best player's hands, and he can make the plays. Last week they had a chance against the Redskins. He made some bad throws. This week he made some better throws. He had some bad ones in there, but when it was a throw he needed to make, he made them. Defensively, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis were great, and pass defense against the run. I think they were from watching the games, they were the 2 top guys I saw. Eric Reid had a chance at an interception, but I do like Eric Reid. He's definitely over an improvement in what we had at safety. He's still he's only been on the team 3-4 weeks. He's only been on the team 3 weeks, so he's still getting into the defense. Hopefully, they start sending more pressure. Not necessarily referring to him, but just sending the linebackers. When they sent more guys, they got pressure. And when you send your Luke Kuechly, when you send your Thomas Davis, Shaq Thompson, they got pressure. So they need to send more guys, not just when you're down, you need to get the ball back. Mix it up. Don't just send 4 guys and sit back in the zone hoping that your 4 guys are going to get after the passer, because it just hasn't happened in the season consistently. So you have to send some guys. And Eric Washington, man, when they're down, he started to call some nice defensive plays. But when early in the games, when the team's close, he's conservative. And I'm pretty sure Ron Rivera has a lot to do with it. The way they play conservative on defense and on offense, you got to be aggressive. You're having trouble in the secondary. You're giving up some yards. Pass rushers just haven't been good this year like they were last year. And even last year, they sent pressure. You watched those games last year. They sent plenty of pressure to kind of mix it up. Give that team's offense something to look at. Let that quarterback know we're not going to just let you sit back and pick us apart. So want to see more of that. That was one of my concerns when I made my last video talking about are the Panthers in trouble. One of my concerns is not only the play on the field, which definitely factors into it, but it's play calling. And play calling for the first 3 quarters on both sides wasn't great. It wasn't great. Looking at team stats, third down efficiency, Carolina 5 of 11, Philadelphia Eagles 3 of 12. One thing I say about the defense, they only gave up 17 points. The Eagles did have a missed field goal, but they only gave up 17 points despite the Eagles having the ball and getting a bunch of yards. Look at time possession. Eagles 35 minutes, 17 seconds. Panthers 24 minutes, 43 seconds. The Eagles had the ball a lot. The defense was on the field for quite some time. The first 3 quarters, you saw the way the offense looked. Like I said, for all the time they were on the field, they only gave up 17 points to a pretty good Eagles offense. They only gave up 342 yards, but only 17 points, which matters most. But let me know what you think about this game. I'll look at the schedule, see who play, who the Carolina Panthers and who the Eagles play next week. What do you think? If you're an Eagles fan, what do you think about the Eagles' performance? Of course, I'm probably going to get a lot of crap for the last video I made about the Panthers. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.